Hi everybody. The previous modules of the first 2 weeks on the fundamentals of growth and development, brain complexity, theoretical underpinnings with special reference to learning and cognitive aspects of young children are all insights and research evidence from great thinkers and scientists. These insights and research evidences, along with the objectives and developmental milestones dealt in the 2 videos of this module, has to be compiled together to put forth certain universal principles to practice ECCE in the real life setting, though the principles are influenced by the individual and the cultural needs. Here are some of the principles giving specific ideas on how an ECCE program can exist to foster early learning and development. Towards the end of this video, you will be able to review the principles guiding the formulation of ECCE curriculum. The principle 1 is learning and development happens in every domain and all the 3 domains stay interconnected. The 3 major domains of development, namely physical, cognitive and psychosocial, are said to be interrelated. In other words, a change or development in one domain affects the other 2 domains. Hence, ECCE framework should be devised in such a way that it addresses every domain and its subdomains of development. The second principle is that the learning and development follows a predictable sequence. Amidst the cultural and contextual variations, a predictable sequence of learning and development is observed among children of 0 to 6 years. By realizing that any change and development is predictable, the ECCE framework should be in such a way that it fosters every domain of development along with its subdomains as and when needed, providing rich, appropriate experiences and stimulative activities. The third principle is development and learning through predictable, though predictable, they vary from individual to individual. The individual variation in the process of development and learning accounts to the strengths and weaknesses of each child. Even among siblings, no 2 children are alike. They have different patterns and timing of development. Moreover, they have a distinct style of learning, wherein the stimulation or experiences provided have different accountability among children. The fourth principle is that the experiential learning leads to the holistic development. When learning experiences are provided to children that calls for inquisitiveness and exploration by using all of their senses such as smell, taste, touch, hearing and seeing, and the child is said to have attained all-round development. Hence, every child should be provided experiential experiences that sustain their interest in learning and enhances their positive disposition to explore and build skills across all the 3 major domains of development. The fifth principle is to remember learning gets initiated at birth. As Piaget had rightly said that a newborn child starts learning things around them through reflexes, it becomes imperative to provide early care and stimulation for a child towards fostering development and learning. Moreover, the rapid synaptic connections in the first few years of life account to the later mastery over a skill or a potential. The sixth principle is that the development and learning is a product of maturation and experience. In other words, the interaction between the genetic endowment of a child and the level of stimulation a child gets accounted to the holistic development. For example, for a child whose genetic potential predicts healthy development is poorly fed in the early years for one or the other reason, the potential goes unfulfilled. On the other hand, for a child with limited potential of healthy development due to an inherent condition, when exposed to optimal simulative experiences, the impact of the limited potential gets maximized. Principle 7 is that there are critical periods in development. Evidences from researchers and various observations had portrayed that certain aspects of development occur more effectively at a particular timing in the lifespan. For example, optimal brain development that occurs in the first few years of life opens up a window of opportunity for language development in those first 3 years. Hence, it becomes significant to use this window period by providing enough stimulation and support in enhancing language learning. The eighth principle is that learning gets initiated through awareness, passes on to exploration, to questioning, and ends up with the application. Through experiences with the people and the overall surrounding, the child's learning gets initiated. With familiarity gained over the experiences, using exploration and inquiry, the child gets the ability to use or apply the same for related or new situations using assimilation and accommodation. The ninth principle is that learning and development happens within a stimulative, nurturing, and protective environment. As Piaget had clearly stated that the child in his early years moves from the sensorial stage to symbolic representational stage, for which meaningful interactions of the child with the environment, namely the parents, other children and adults, things around them, and even the experience, becomes the investment. Hence, it becomes the society's responsibility to provide a caring, stimulating, supportive, and protective environment to foster holistic development of the child. The 10th principle is that the socio-cultural context influences the process of learning and development to a large extent. As proposed by the ecological systems theory of development and learning, depends on the child's environment and the community as a whole in its broader context. Hence, the facilitator of an early learning center should be aware of the culture that the child hails from and provide relevant experiences, since a child's thinking is shaped by his or her culture. The 11th principle is curiosity and desire to learn is inherent. Any child born in this world does possess an inherent potential of curiosity to learn from things they see and people they interact. This inherent potential allows them to stretch their imagination in search of alternatives, formulation of questions and answers. Hence, the early learning center should make clever use of this potential by providing a teaching pedagogy that provokes their intelligence at all domains. The 12th principle is learning is effective and sustainable when it happens through play. Play is a tool for the child's holistic development. It's a play that provides opportunities for the child to explore, experiment, manipulate, and discover. In Piagetian term, the abstract thought of a child gets developed through play. Play is of many types, but do remember that play is the only tool that enhances learning disposition of a child. Hence, ECCE center should be in such a way it provides opportunities for optimal play. To recapitulate the content of the module on ECCE objectives and principles, let us have a brief understanding of what is early childhood care and education and what it is not. Early childhood education is a balanced play and activity-based program which provides a stimulating environment for the language, intellectual, socio-emotional and physical development of the child. It is a child-centered program catering to an individual's child's learning and emotional needs, employing individual, small and large group activities with one-to-one communication, lays the foundation for the development of reading, writing and number work. It is a school readiness program which readies children for learning to read, write and to do arithmetic later. It is a program which indirectly promotes self-control and thereby inner discipline. Early childhood education is not a syllabus-bound program for teaching 3 hours, reading, writing and arithmetic, nor a song and a rhyme and go home approach. It is not a teacher-centered program that follows a formal classroom approach as in school. It is not a downward extension of the primary grades. It is not a program which demands unquestioning obedience or exercises strict classroom discipline. It is not a program to conduct tests to know how children are learning and developing. So, thank you. Hope to meet you on the next video.